Hey folks, welcome to another day, another unboxing. This is it, the OnePlus 8 Pro and the OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 30 watt wireless charging base for the OnePlus 8 Pro. Yeah, so let's get started, shall we? I've got a lot to talk about here. Let's start with the 8 Pro. I know that's the one you've been waiting for. So here we go. 8. Says 8 Pro on this side. Doesn't have too much of anything anywhere. It's got a little tab back here that I can remove. Some iMaze right here. Check it out. This is a 12 gigs of RAM version with 256 gigs of storage. And yeah, let's pull this tab off and go from there. Ooh, that's a delicious sound. I don't open these on the show too often. Usually I do this ahead of the show, but I figured with a tab it'd be just easy and I'd be able to remove these and show you the deets. So, OnePlus 8 Pro. Dun, 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 dun. It's sliding off. It's a little slow. There we go. Boom. Nothing inside here. Here's the phone. Look at that in a minute. We have a divider. Feels like it has something in it. So here we go. It's hard to remove this stuff, but it's wedged in there pretty damn good. Ah, there's more. All right, I think, no, there's more. Wow, they really wedged it in here. And that's it. I got it all out. Wow. A lot of work here. All right, so we've got the usual invitation letter from the folks at OnePlus. It's probably going to read the same as it always does. Here we go. Signed by Pete Lau. I'm not going to read it for you. You folks have seen this before. Then we've got a bunch of stickers. Then we've got quick start guide. Not much going on here. Shows you the lay of the land. And then we've got safety information. Nobody cares about that. And finally, highest SAR values. Interesting. All right, next up, we have a translucent case. Ooh, I love that. Never settle. Well done, OnePlus. That's pretty delightful. I like these TPU cases that come with the Chinese phones because they are pretty high quality. They don't get yellow over time, which is a nice thing. Then we have the Warp charging cord, USB-A on one side, USB-C on the other side. No condoms this time around. You need to use this cord with the proper charger to get the full 30 watt fast charging. And here is the actual 30 watt charger for Warp 30T charging. This is the same charger as last year, so nothing too new here. And that, folks, is it for the box. No headphones or even no headphone jack adapter, so you're left on your own. There's no headphone jack. Of course, most of us are using wireless these days, but it still annoys me a little bit. All right, next, we've got the phone right here. So let's open this up. Oh yeah, baby. Here we go. And I think there's an IMEI number in the back I need to take care of before I can show you the beauty that is this back panel. Here's the IMEI number. And ta-ta-da-da. Whoa, look at that. It's a matte glass finish and it is sublime. Wow. Check this out. 4 cameras in the back, flash and autofocus system here. Very, very interesting. There you go. All right, so, oh wow, look at the OnePlus logo in here. It's very cool. All right, let's power it up, shall we? Ooh, nice haptic feedback there. I mean, OnePlus has been doing really great on haptic feedback lately, but this felt really premium. Now, we were told that when these ship, they will have a pre-applied screen protector but it doesn't have one on this particular unit. So let's boot it up and have a quick look. Wow. Very little bezel, slight waterfall edges, as you can see here. This is a 6.78-inch display. It is a 1440p display, i.e. Quad HD 2K display. 120 Hertz, yep. In-display fingerprint sensor, yep. Hole punch camera, no more pop-up camera on the Pro this year. That camera is a 16 megapixel Sony IMX471 with 1 micron pixels and an f/2.45, which is not that great, but here you go. So we'll see how that works out. And in the back, there's a bunch of cameras, and I'll get to those in a second. But before I do, this is powered by a Snapdragon 865. Comes with either 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. This is 12 gigs. Comes with either 128 or 256 gigs of UFS 3 storage. This is 256 gig. And it has a 4510 milliamp hour battery, and of course an X55 modem for 5G. Now, here's the big exciting news for this phone, is that it's the first OnePlus phone with wireless charging, up to 30 watts of wireless charging. That's kind of insane. So it supports Qi charging as well, but you have to use the proprietary 30-watt wireless charger if you want to get the whole enchilada. Yeah, that's it for specs and details. Now I'm going to give you a quick tour of the edges. On the right hand side here you have the usual slider for mute and vibrate and all that stuff. Got power lock key. Then we have nothing until we hit the bottom. At the bottom we have a USB Type-C port and a speaker and a SIM tray. There's a dual SIM with no micro SD expansion. There you go. And then on the left hand side we've got the volume rocker here. And on top, we just have a secondary microphone, nothing else. You can see a slit here for the speaker. I would assume this is stereo with this and that being fired together for audio. So that, folks, is the OnePlus 8 Pro. Very, very, very nice. Now, cameras. We got 4 cameras in the back. The main camera, I'm not sure which one's which here. The main camera is a Sony IMX689. That's the same sensor we saw on the Oppo Find X2 Pro. That is the successor to the IMX586, which, as you know, is a pretty awesome sensor. This is a quad Bayer sensor. It bins 4 pixels together. Each pixel is 1.12 micron for an effective pixel size of 2.24 micron when you're binning. Of course, the output's 12 megapixel and 48 megapixel native. Then the f-stop on this is f/1.78, and it's got OIS, of course. So that's pretty damn great. And then we've got an ultra-wide, 48 megapixels, IMX586, last year's main sensor for the OnePlus 7 series. And that has an f-stop of f/2.2, and of course no OIS. Then there's a telephoto. So one of these is a telephoto. It is an 8 megapixel, 1 micron pixels, f/2.4 with OIS, of course. So that's pretty exciting. Nothing too crazy here. There's no mention as to what the optical zoom is on that, but I assume it's 3 times. That means you can probably go 5 times for hybrid zoom. And then there's a 4th camera. They're calling it a color filter camera. I assume it's this one, but I'm not sure what exactly that means. All we know is that it's 5 megapixels with an f/2.4 aperture. So that's basically the nuts and bolts of this. So that's it for the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now let's take a look at the OnePlus 8 Non-Pro. So here we go. That is the box. Very much the same as before. It doesn't say OnePlus 8 Plus. It says OnePlus 8. And yeah, same stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the back again. This one is also a 12 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte version. So let's have a look at that one, shall we? There's a tab. I'm going to pull on it. Yeah. And there we are. This is going to happen now. Woo! OnePlus 8. Ta-da! Again, nothing in here. Then we have, it's a little different packaging. We've got the documentation here and a little easier to manage setup because The previous OnePlus 8 Pro box was difficult to deal with. I think I got everything out of here. Yep. Now we've got safety information, quick start guide, again very similar to before. We've got the SAR information, the stickers, and the invitation letter with the SIM removal tool. Pretty much the same setup as before. Welcome, says Pete. Now, let's get to the actual meat of this. We got the phone here, and we've got charging cable, Warp 30, with the red USB-A and USB-C ends. Remember, you need to use this cable with the Warp charger to get the full effect. So here's the Warp charger. And that's it for the box. Again, no headphone adapter, nothing like that. You're on your own for this. So let's take a look at the phone. This one I can slide out without having to remove the wrapper. There is also an IMEI sticker back here, so I'm going to peel that off real quick. And there we are. And this, oh, is what they call interstellar glow. That's right, interstellar glow. It's a gorgeous color, look at that. Yeah, nice. So this is a pretty thin phone, which is nice. I mean, a little thinner than average, at least that's how it feels. And so there's a triple camera system in the back here again, but it's not what you think, so I'll get to that in a second. OnePlus logo down here, very shimmery. Yeah, let's turn it on and walk you through some of those specs. Yeah, nice haptics again. So this is a slightly smaller phone. It's a 6.55-inch display. And it's 1080p, 90 Hertz, AMOLED with in-display fingerprint sensor. So basically versus the 1.8 Pro, that's the big difference. You're going from a 2K 120 Hertz display to a 1080p 90 Hertz display, but nonetheless still 90 Hertz, which is great. So very similar to the display we found on the OnePlus 7T last year, except instead of a teardrop notch, we got a hole punch here for the camera. So it's a little more modern looking, and yeah, it's a 20:9 aspect ratio, very similar aspect ratio to the OnePlus 8 Pro. And again, on board, we have a Snapdragon 865, 8 or 12 gigs of RAM, 128 or 256 gigs of storage, very much like the OnePlus 8 Pro, and 5G support with an X55 modem. So that spec is pretty much the same. The front camera details, it's a 16 megapixel Sony IMX471 1 micron f/2.0 camera, so very similar to the details of the camera we had for the OnePlus 8 Pro. So that's cool. And then the battery in this is a 4300 milliamp hour, so slightly smaller than the 4510 on the OnePlus 8 Pro. And the rear camera system is also quite different. We have a Sony IMX586 main sensor, same sensor as the 7 series last year. This is a 48 megapixel that pixel bins 4 into 1. It starts off with 0.8 micron pixels and combines them to 1.6 micron pixels. Has OIS, has an f-stop of f/1.75. Then we've got an ultra-wide camera. It's one of these three. Again, I don't know which one's which here. I'm just kind of guessing. Ooh. And that's a 16 megapixel f/2.2 camera. That's all we know. And then the third camera is not a telephoto. It is a macro lens. It has 2 megapixels, f/2.4, 1.75 microns, very similar to the macro camera we've seen on Oppo's Reno 2 series last year. So that's kind of cool. And that's it for cameras. So the sides, the edges, you've got the same layout as the OnePlus 8 Pro. You've got a notification slider here with vibrate, silence, etc. Power lock key here. On the bottom, you have the speaker, USB Type-C, and the SIM tray, dual SIM, no micro SD. On the left-hand side, you have the volume rocker and really nothing else. And on top, you got the secondary microphone. And that's it, folks. That is the OnePlus 8. And here again is the OnePlus 8 Pro. As you can see, they're almost the same size. They look very similar, but this camera bump is a lot thicker than this camera bump. Probably because that's Sony IMX689, which is a pretty large sensor and probably needs a pretty nice optical stack for it to work properly. And there you can see the display, slightly different sizes, but basically the same setup. Very nice. Interestingly, the OnePlus 8 here came with a pre-installed screen protector, as it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's what happens when you get press units. Things don't always match perfectly. All right, let's have a look at this wireless charger, shall we? This is a OnePlus 30-watt wireless charger. Boom. Not too much here. It just says OnePlus Warp Charger 30. So they're calling it warp charging, even though it's wireless. And I guess that's it. I suppose you can pull on this somehow. There we go. Yeah, there's a cord. Oh, the cord is permanently attached. That's a bit of a bummer. Looks like there might be a fan here to cool it down. And then you just plop the phone down on here. Let me actually show you that real quick. I got the Pro right here, so it'll just go on like that and charge like this, resting like that. So nothing too surprising here. And inside this box here, I presume, is the cable and some, oh wow, a large charger as well. So this is interesting. There's really nothing else in here, but the cable is completely captive. They saved some money here by not having this removable. At the same time, it means that if you break this cable, you can't replace it. You have to buy the whole thing as one piece. And that's what it looks like, folks. Now, inside the box here is some documentation. So let me have a quick look at that. So it just says never settle, and has some instructions in multiple languages. Really not too much. Shows you how to set it up. But yeah, that's the 30-watt wireless charging, the Warp 30 wireless charger from OnePlus. And that, folks, is my unboxing of the OnePlus 8 Pro and OnePlus 8. Yes, beautiful phones. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll have some more unboxings coming up soon, and expect a review of these phones on Geekspin from me soon. These are very exciting. I'm super stoked. I'm a big fan of OnePlus, and I think these specs are really, really hot. The only thing we don't know right now is pricing. We expect it to be very competitive in the flagship, premium flagship, and affordable flagship universe, basically somewhere in between. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, tell your friends. Please click the little notification bell below to get notified. Comment below as well if you'd like to chat with me. This video is a compliment to the Mobile Tech Podcast at mobiletechpodcast.com or on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, and Spotify. You should subscribe to the show as well so you can hear my thoughts on this phone with a guest from the media. And stay tuned for more videos. We'll have some very soon again. Cheers, everybody.